Hi everyone, my name is Ellen if you're new here. Officially February, the month of love. Whether you're celebrating Valentine's Day with your significant other, with your best friends, or you just want to treat yourself, I have the cutest Valentine's Day gift ideas for you. So grab your supplies, get cozy, and let's get creative. Oh, and before we get started, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe. It helps a lot and I'm happy to have you here. Also, we just hit 700 subscribers. Thank you all so much for subscribing, and now let's get into the video. If you love to take pictures as much as I do, I got you. I have for you the cutest DIY Polaroid holders. I saw them all over Pinterest. We are going to make some different ones. The first one is this really cute Jellycat inspired holder. I saw some Jellycat ones, but I didn't see like the Valentine's one yet. And look how cute he is. Like, this is like adorable. We have this little guy. I will show you guys how you can make him. If you're like significant other, or you have a friend that's really like into F1 like my boyfriend is, then I'm also going to show you guys how you can make this little one, and you can put like a cute picture of the two of you together. Let's start with DIY.
Here is what you'll need: air dry clay, foil to protect your table, some modeling tools, a glass and a pencil, and of course a heart-shaped cookie cutter to get it perfect shape. I started by grabbing a small piece of clay and kneading it really well. This makes it much softer and easier to work with. Before shaping, I quickly checked how big I wanted my figure to be compared to a Polaroid. For the base, we're making a heart shape. Take your time with this. Smooth it out, adjust the curves, and make sure that you're happy with it before moving on. Next up, the face details. You can either use the cookie cutter to help shape it, or freehand if you're feeling confident. Here's where it gets a little tricky. We need to recreate that fluffy, fuzzy look from the plushie. I gently poked tiny little holes next to each other, all around the surface. This creates that soft, textured effect that makes it look extra cute. And don't forget texture at the back as well. For the final details, I added little feet to the bottom. Once your figure is done, decide where you want the opening for the Polaroid. Carefully cut out the slot, photo can fit in it later. For the paint, I kept it super simple, it's all red. Make sure you cover every little detail, including inside all the tiny textures, so nothing is left unpainted. Now, to bring it really to life, I painted the cutest little face. I mean, just look at him, he's adorable. For the final step, if you want to, you can add a glossy, shiny look, a clear gold, finish it off. It makes such a difference and gives it that polished look. That's it for the first DIY. How cute is this little Polaroid holder? I started by shaping the base of the car, super simple. Then I added the front wing flaps. Right now it kind of looks like a snail, but trust the process. Next, I sculpted the four wheels of the car. I realized the car was looking a little too small, so I went back and made it slightly bigger. At this point, the clay was drying out on my hands. I had to take off my press-on nails. Then it was time to attach the wheels one by one. Here is how it looks before smoothing. To get that clean and polished finish, I went in with a brush. I measured the Polaroid size first and then out an opening so the picture would fit perfectly. Time to paint. I started by covering almost everything in bright red, and then I went in with black paint for the wheels and the black spoiler to add that extra detail. To finish it off, I sealed everything with a glossy top coat to give it that smooth, polished look, just like a real race car.
What could be better than a sweet treat for Valentine's Day? One that you can actually play with. The Tic Tac Toe one that I made, and how adorable is it? I will show you guys it in a minute, but me and my boyfriend definitely love to play some games, like we love board games. I think this is perfect if you guys are like waiting for a little dessert and you want to play some games, then you can definitely do this. You can also totally customize this. I also saw like different type of foods. For like Valentine's Day, it's really cute to make like this one. Also, even like the player, you can totally customize it. I made for one player these cute inspired heart-shaped sugar candies. For the other player, you have these whipped cream ones. It's super cute and it's so fun to play. So let's start painting.
To start, grab a big piece of air dry clay, roll it out, then cut out the heart shape. You can do this by freehand. Smooth all the edges using a little water. Take your time with the step, you want that perfect cookie shape. To get that realistic baked cookie look, we're adding a border around the heart. Roll out a thicker strip of clay and attach it to the edges. Then use a small tool or a knife to make tiny indentations along the border. This gives it that classy cookie effect. Next, it's time to mark out the Tic Tac Toe grid. Make sure it's big enough so there is enough room for the game pieces later. I also pressed into the clay a little too to add some depth. Make sure the lines stood out clearly. Then I smoothed everything out again to refine the shape. And here is how it's looking so far. Now for the game pieces. I took small pieces of clay, started shaping the hearts. A super important tip, make sure they fit inside the grid squares. I took my time shaping them so they all look somewhat identical. I ended up making 5 pieces in total. Then I made the whipped cream pieces. They were a bit tricky. I created slanted lines going downward and made the top pointy to give it that real whipped cream swirl look. Again, I made 5 of these, so each player gets their own type of piece. So now, time for the fun part, the painting. I grabbed my paints, a palette and some varnish clay. For the cookie border, I really wanted that golden brown baked look, but I just could not get the right shade with acrylics, so I switched to watercolor instead. If you do this, be careful not to use too much water and build up the color gradually. It gives it that perfect golden cookie color. For the whipped cream pieces, I painted them pure white using acrylic paint one by one. For the inside of the cookie, I went with a soft pink to match the Valentine's theme. Make sure to cover all the edges and the corners and do a couple of layers so the color really looks smooth and even. For the heart-shaped game pieces, I went with red because it reminded me of classic Valentine's Day candy, but you can totally customize them in different colors. Then I added those tiny little conversation candy tags on top of the hearts, just like the real ones. I sealed everything with a varnish coating to get that glossy, edible looking effect. This step was a little messy for me. I may or may not have gotten varnish everywhere, but trust me, for this DIY a glossy finish is a must. It makes the cookie look so much more realistic. Oh, and one tip, if you're adding text, gloss the pieces first and then write on them, otherwise the paint might get smudgy. And of course, I also sealed the whipped cream ones with a glossy effect to give it that extra foodie look. Once everything was glossed and dry, this was the final result. It legit looks like a real cookie. I'm obsessed. What do you think? Would you play Tic Tac Toe with this?
It's a perfect gift for someone that really also loves to decorate their room, like it can stand on your nightstand and it just looks so adorable.
For this DIY, you need a photo frame of your choice, some ribbons, different fabric pieces for decoration, a photo to place inside, and some double-sided tape to keep everything in place. To start, take out the back panel of the frame. This is going to be our canvas for the design. You won't need a glass, so you can put that aside. Next, cover the entire panel with double-sided tape. This will help the fabric stay in place and create a smooth, seamless look. Now, pick a fabric that you love. I went with this soft white fabric. Now you want to remove the paper of the double-sided tape one by one. Once you've removed the backing from the tape, gently press the fabric onto the panel. If you're using a larger piece, it's best to smooth it down layer by layer to avoid wrinkling. Edges don't have to be perfect, we'll hide them later inside the frame. Now it's time to position the photo. I decided where I wanted it to go and started decorating around it. I used this heart buttoned ribbon because it's super cute and totally fits the Valentine theme. To secure the ribbon, I added more tape to keep everything in place. For the final touch, I glued a little bow at the top to make it even cuter, and I also added another strip of heart ribbon at the bottom for an extra detail. I wanted to make this even more personal, so I added a small text piece with a meaningful message. It's such a sweet way to make this DIY unique. And now it's time to close up the frame, and here's the final result. It turned out so adorable. I love how soft and personal it looks.
Next DIY is for my book lovers, a personalized bookmarker, and I think this is the cutest gift if you know someone that really loves to read books. This one is more like a girly and aesthetic vibe, but also for Christmas I made my boyfriend one. It was like a Formula 1 inspired one, and I really just want him to read a bit more because he felt a bit discouraged, so I thought this cute gift would be super fun for him to have. So I also have an F1 one. This one is like more for if you want to gift your friends a cute little bookmarker.
First, start by cutting out a piece of paper or cardstock that's a little smaller than a book. I actually used a book as a reference to get the right size. Since I didn't want it to look too perfect, I cut wavy rounded edges to make it more playful and give it an aesthetic look. Next, it's time to choose your design. I went with a mix of bows and tiny food doodles, but honestly, you can find tons of cute inspo on Pinterest if you need any ideas. Then I started painting. I used watercolors for a soft, dreamy effect. Take your time with this step, there's no rush. If you're adding a background color, I recommend painting the whole page first before adding the little doodles on top. This helps to keep the color smooth and even. I repeated the same process on the back so that both sides looked cute. To make it even more special, I punched a small hole at the top so I could attach something to decorate. I went with this tiny bow charm that helps the bookmark stick out of the book so you can easily find your page. And here is the final result. It turned out so cute and personal. I love how simple yet unique it is. What do you think?
Lastly, we have this personalized hairbrush. I wrote like my name on it and also some flowers. I think this is adorable if you have a friend or like a significant other that's really into hair care. I mean, it's something that you can use on the daily, and it's just like a little reminder that they gave you the gift. So I think it's super cute and very personal. It's also such a fun and easy DIY to do, so let's start painting.
You will need a hairbrush with a large enough surface, a fine detail brush, a palette, and of course acrylic paints in different shades. To make things easier, I started by lightly sketching my design with a pencil. This helps map out where you want the name and any decorative elements like little arches or flowers to go. I went in with white paint to trace over everything. This step is important. If you go straight in with the colors, they might not show up as well. Take your time here, especially if you want a clean and precise lettering. Once the white base was fully dry, I carefully painted over the letters with my chosen color. Then I moved on to the decorative elements around the brush, adding little arches and soft details to make it extra special. For the final touch, I painted tiny white flowers over the design. You can even choose a flower that reminds you of the person you're making this for. I went with daisies because they're super soft and they kind of reminded me of myself. At first I felt like it was missing something, so I added some tiny white dots for extra detail. This is totally optional, but I love how it fills up the space in a delicate way. To finish it all off, I painted a little bow at the bottom. First I outlined it in with white to make sure it stood out, and then I went over it with the same color as the letters, so everything looked cohesive. The final result, it looks so cute and personal. I'm honestly obsessed. What do you think?
I hope that you find something cute for your loved ones or even just for yourself to decorate your room. Let me know in the comments which one you like the most and which one you're going to try out as well. Like, definitely send me a DM of your creation. I love to see them. Happy Valentine's Day, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.